all day right here, you know?
Oh, good. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Chronicles of Chef. I'm Scott Hamilton, and today we're going to do a twice-baked sweet potato. Super stoked for this. I was in the shower the other day, and I was thinking about sweet potatoes like one does, and I thought everyone's going to be eating sweet potatoes and yams pretty soon, and everyone's going to have them covered in brown sugar and cinnamon and some marshmallows. And while that is delicious, I was like, we could do better. We can do right by the sweet potato and the yam, and we can do a delicious twice baked potato, which is a great side. It's a great appetizer. Party, home alone by yourself, you can't go wrong. But some caramelized onions with some fresh thyme and caramelized apples. Nice texture, a little crunch, a little sweetness, a little freshness from the thyme. Maybe a little goat cheese brie. A little tang, a little funk maybe. And how about some cheddar cheese, Beehive, with some bourbon infused deliciousness, maybe a little apple and walnut smoked. And then I was like, we need a crunch, we need texture, we need a little heat. So why not a bourbon hot honey glazed or candied walnut? Yeah. Let's get cooking. All right, so we got about 4.5 pounds worth of sweet potatoes. We're going big on this guy. And we are going to just do some holes, but we're going to go kind of in quarters because that's how I'm going to want to cut them. So we're going to let the air and sugars come out there and give us a good caramelization. We're just looking for an area for let some of that steam out so that they don't bust open or anything like that. Okay. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to hit them with a little bit of olive oil. Just a little drizzle, drizzle, drizzle. There we go. Whole lot of salt. And then a lot of fresh cracked pepper. Do this guy a little bit more. All right. Now, to get our hands dirty, we're going to give a nice roll. Pick up all the salt and pepper. Rub it in all over these skins. Because now we are going to eat the skins because we're doing twice baked potatoes, right? So we want to make sure that the skin is going to have a nice crisp to it. It's going to taste delicious. So we just need salt and pepper. They taste delicious all amongst themselves, all by themselves. All right. We're going to throw this in the oven now, 400 degrees for about an hour. And while that's happening, we'll get working on our caramelized onions and all that. Let's go. All right, now that we got our sweet potatoes in the oven, let's get working on all the other fun things for our filling on this twice-baked sweet potato. First up, we're going to do some thyme. I love fresh thyme with caramelized onions, and it goes really good with apples, and it goes great with sweet potatoes. So to me, this is the perfect herb for this dish. Run our knife through it, set off to the side, get it ready for later. Now, our onion, we're going to run our knife through it. We want really nice, thin little slices because we want this to break down. We want it to have some good texture, but we want to make sure that we have as much of the area, surface area of both the apple and the onion exposed to the heat in the pan to increase our potential of caramelization as we caramelize the apples and the onion. Let's get to the hot pan, throw it on our butter. We're going to melt that down. We're going to use probably a little over half a stick of butter for all of this. We're going to salt it heavy. We're going to use a big pan. And the reason why is because I want as much of those onions to be hitting that surface area. Toss in the apples. As we can see, as we're kind of cooking this through, it's going to take about a half hour to 45 minutes on a medium heat to really get it going. While we're finishing up our caramelization on our apples and our onions, we're going to start doing our little hot honey bourbon glaze. A little apple cider vinegar for a little acid. We're going to hit that on both. I love adding a little apple cider vinegar to my caramelized onions. Helps brighten the dish up. And of course, we're going to finish our caramelized onions with fresh thyme. Little King's Peak just for deliciousness. We all know I love my King's Peak from Hyda's Kitchen and use it wherever I possibly can. This glaze is perfect for it. I have a recipe on my website that uses like a beer and spicy spice nut. That's what inspired this. I'll link that down below. But like I was saying, we're going to finish off our caramelized onions and apples with some fresh thyme just to kind of bring it back to life. We have the vinegar in there to brighten it up. It's going to be delicious. Now, we're tossing in our walnuts. Going to in that hot pan, same pan that we used onions. We didn't even clean it. We're just going to use all those flavors, let them build, and then we're just going to toss them in that with that glaze and let them candy up. We're going to boil down that syrup just to let it finish cooking a little bit. Now, we've pulled these out. We let them cool just for a little bit. They're still going to be really hot to touch. But they were in the oven for about an hour and a half or so. 30 minutes of without any heat on it, just resting away. Now, we're going to pull out the insides of these things, and the beautiful thing about food something that I love is that you repeat your processes a lot, and so you get to be better. So the first two were fine, pulled out the middle, left some on the edges so that we had some structure. And by the end, I was like, hey, this is the best way to do it. Use my knife, give myself a good clean edge, and everything just pulls right out with my spoon. Then I'm left with a good amount on the bottom, really great sides. And now I know for next time. Now, for the rest of my fillings, we got our Beehive cheese. It's the honey apple walnut smoked deliciousness. It's a cheddar. Pour me a slice. Also a cheddar infused with the Basil Hayden, same bourbon that we used in our glaze. So those are going to go great together. Now, our goat cheese brie. Oh my goodness. So I took a little bite of it, and yes, it is tangy. It is very much of a brie. It has a little funk. All the notes that I was hoping for, it's perfect. Now, we're going to run our knife through half of our caramelized apple and onion mixture, and we're going to use that to fold into the mixture after we've pureed it. So the rest of the unchopped, all of our cheeses, we're going to go to put together with our sweet potato innards, if you will, or the meats of the sweet potato that we pulled out. Salt and pepper as we go, make sure we taste everything right. And now, heavy cream. We're going to add a little bit of that glaze in there to give that cream a little flavor, and we're going to whip it. We're looking to do kind of like a mousse kind of vibe, so I wanted more of like a stiff peak whipped cream that will fold in to this puree. And we're going to whip this because I didn't want it chunky. I want it really nice and smooth and luxurious filling. Add some eggs just to kind of help hold things up, and then also hopefully give it a little bit of a lift. And oh, look at that. I bet we could make a soup out of that. That would be killer. Notes for next time. Now, we're going to fold in our heavy, our whipped cream. And if you've seen Schitt's Creek, when they ask, how do you fold the stuff in? Well, this is how. You're going to tuck in from the middle and then swirl around, and you basically are going to fold stuff on top. So over the top, over the top, and put it in. And that's how you fold in whatever ingredients when they're asking you to fold it in when it comes to like a batter. Now, foil line our sheet tray, making cleanup nice and easy. We're going to throw in all of our sweet potatoes, and now we're going to fill them with our little mousse-esque kind of filling. And look at that. It's a beautiful color. The texture is great. And I'm going to throw this in the freezer once we've got this all done for about 30 minutes to let it kind of hold up, solidify, finish kind of cooling off. And while that's in there, we're going to dice up our toasted walnuts. Now that they've cooled down, it's not going to burn your fingers because it's candied honey on there. And then, of course, we're going to garnish with more fresh thyme. We're going to throw it in the oven for about 30 minutes, pull them out, and we raise the temperature to 450 degrees, top them with some extra of our walnuts, and then let's get to plating. Here's a little platter version. I think it looks pretty good. I would love to see that on a centerpiece or on the side of a buffet kind of a deal. Now, for a single plating, if this was like what you're eating, make sure you give your plate a nice little cleanup, and then a little drizzle of that hot honey bourbon delicious glaze. All right, so a couple things right off the bat. One, tasting it while we were going, phenomenal. I like the luxurious center filling that we were making, and I think that maybe smaller sweet potatoes next time. Maybe a slightly different ratio, but ooh, that is good. All right, now for like a full-on bite. Make sure we get a little bit of everything. Ooh, ooh. Whoa. You get the apple, you get the caramelized onions, all that is playing really well together. There's a little bit of tartness with the apple cider vinegar and the onions and the apple, bringing it all in. It's really, really smooth and luxurious. It's almost like a mousse kind of a vibe, which is what I was kind of going for. I wish it was a little bit sturdier, a little thicker. I love like the overall texture, but I think maybe a little more heavy cream next time. Have it whipped a little bit more, but that little bit of heat from the bourbon hot honey glaze is phenomenal. The walnuts give it a great crunch. I feel like you get the tang of the brie, you get the rich creaminess of the brie, and then you get that little bit of cheddar coming in. Oh, it goes great with the apple. The smoked apple, there's a little bit of smokiness in there. But oh man, like it almost looks like a pie situation, like a custard. I love it. Yeah, 100%. These need to be on your table tomorrow, now. I mean, there's no need to wait. This is killer, and I'm loving it. Thank you for watching. I hope that this inspired you to try something new and something fun and to experiment a little bit, either before or during the holidays. Why not? You only live once. So I hope to see what you guys are doing. If you have any questions, let me know. Like, subscribe, do all the fun things, and we'll see you guys next time. Ooh. All day right here, you know? Mm-hmm. So good.